You should give us names before the sun goes down, because we're all in great danger if you're correct. But if you're going to name names, I'd like you to present the evidence as well.
Dude is a troll. So in one of my last videos, I misspoke because I led everyone to believe that this was the conversation of AOC, like really grilling some of the members of the committee. And you're going to see that this, I don't know who this gray-haired guy was, but this dude really gave the business, man.
On both sides. And Mr. Huffman, I associate myself with Mr. Lamborn. That's not a question I feel is appropriate to ask, and would never ask that. Maybe under oath I would answer that, but otherwise I'm not going to answer that. Likewise, to my colleagues who flout or fundraise or tout that they have firearms or that they use firearms or carry firearms, I'm equally as disturbed and uncomfortable, and feel like our personal safety is incredibly important, but it's a matter between us and the Capitol Police and our local police and our staff, and trust everybody to take adequate precautions in those. We all live in a situation that is precarious. I'm often amazed that some local officials have an escort of police officers. As a member of 435, I have realized just how disposable I am, and we have actually very little security and protection, and I can understand that bothers my colleagues, and to the extent that they take steps to protect themselves, I support that. And Mr. Chairman, with that, I yield.
So he said that he has an issue with people who are over the top when it comes to guns, and he has issues with people who are completely against guns, because he said when you're touting them and saying, woohoo, I got all these guns, you know, and I'm more protected than you, then he don't like those people. But he also says that with certain things that have transpired, I understand if you want to protect yourself and you have to do what you have to do for yourself and your family. So with that said, do your thing. But he's more so in the middle. I would say this, when you're that much in the middle, you're not helpful, in my opinion. But I'll give y'all more of my opinion a little later.
You'll back my time to Mr.
And one last comment. The gentleman that actually stopped the carnage in Tucson was a private citizen with a gun, not a police officer.
The gentleman yield back. Mr. Gosar, do you yield back? Gentleman yields back. There's Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I apologize if this point is duplicative, but as our chair, you have authority over this committee. You are responsible for the conduct of this committee. You're responsible for the safety of this committee as it pertains to what we enshrine in our rules. And when I heard earlier some individuals asking if you believed or if the chair believes whether members of Congress should be permitted to bring a firearm into this committee, I heard an answer that was essentially, this is duplicative, the House rules are what they are. But members have very different interpretations of these rules. They challenge these rules. And I think it's very, very important as our chair to understand what your specific interpretation of this is. Does the chair believe that members of Congress should be able to bring firearms into the Natural Resources Committee or not?
The chair believes that members of the Natural Resources Committee should follow the House rules and the guidance by the Capitol Police.
The House rules, members have different interpretations of what those rules are. I need to know, for a sense of my own personal safety, what your interpretation of the House rules are as it pertains to this issue.
I believe that would be a question you should take up with the House Administration Committee, and they do have a Members' Day, as all committees do.
So am I... I see. So
I don't get why he couldn't give his interpretation. I'm sure some of y'all do get why he didn't. Maybe he just didn't want to, and he told her to go somewhere else. But I say that looks a little shady to me. For a person that's on the outside looking in, right? And I'm seeing some discourse trying to be drummed up, but someone points to him and said, look, I'm not answering that question. I'm not going to give you my interpretation because it seems like a setup. And what if I don't know the right things to say? Well, if you don't know the right things to say, then you should probably not be in this conversation. But I know that he has the right things to say. My question is, why is he not giving her the answers that she's asking for.
So we are seeing that, that the chair, who is responsible for enforcement of these rules, does not have a specific interpretation of whether firearms should or not be permitted into the committee, or has the committee not consulted House admin on the House administration's interpretation on these rules?
The chair's position is that we will follow the rules of the House.
Okay. I'll have one follow-up question. Has this committee been in communication with the House Administrative Committee about what the conclusion of these rules are?
Okay, I'm reading some of the answers coming from my Twitch live stream. See, this is why I love doing these videos live with you all, because y'all answer me in real time. Okay, I asked the question, why is the gentleman not answering AOC's questions? And what I'm receiving is, okay, AOC just triggered me. Okay, that's lag 7878. Susie Carr and or Chris said, I think I get where she is coming from, which is terrifying. Real Doc Browner says she just wants to troll. Now, the Afro Shadow says because it's up for interpretation, which when you are trying to give people the freedom to make decisions they are comfortable with, it's a pro-freedom, pro-personal responsibility type of position. Okay. Lover of Jesus and Humanity says, because she was just baiting him and setting him up. I think she knows the answer, and that's why she's asking. So she's responding to him more so like a cross-examiner, and she wants him to say something so that she can say whatever she has next. He's not trying to give her that opportunity. He's like, okay, well, you know what? I see what you're trying to do. You can go get that information when you leave here because you're trying to start some stuff. Okay. All right, but I get that. I get that. So they playing chess, not checkers. They are volleying right now. This is not about the conversation itself. This could turn into something that I ain't got time for. I see what you're trying to do. I'm not going to let you do it. But it does look shady when those tactics take place. When somebody asks you a question and then you decide to just send them somewhere else and not answer them, it comes off. Perception is all I'm saying. It comes off as a bit shady.
The committee has not been in consultation with the House administration because this is an amendment that's not necessary. This will be the only committee in Congress that has this amendment. The only time this has ever been in the rules was when it was put in this committee in the last Congress.
So just in summary, the decision as to whether or not the chair believes that firearms should be permitted in this committee is determined by House admin. But the committee has not been in touch with House admin as to whether this should or should not be allowed. And so therefore, we're just going to leave this ambiguous?
I believe it's up to every member of the House to follow the House rules. And I'm sure you can visit with House admin staff at any time.
Will the gentlelady yield for a moment?
One moment.
He said, we make sure that everybody follow House rules. And I see what you're trying to do. The admin staff will help you with all of that information that you want. I see it's smooth the way he does it. I get it. I'm just saying it comes off as, whoa, what are you hiding, bruh? What are you hiding, man? You don't want to give her the answers, bro. But I get it. I totally get it. I see through it. I see.
I do want to reiterate the point of liability. I think that if we're in this point of having to just all take our safety into our own hands, then does the chair believe that members of Congress should also be pursuing legal avenues in order to protect ourselves as well?
The chair believes that's an issue to take up with the House admin, and the chair also believes that we should be focusing on the issues that this committee is chartered to focus on.
I agree. Thank you very much. I yield.
Now will the gentlelady yield?
Just yield a little bit of
Yes.
time before.
Yes.
By show of hands, we just had members of this committee indicate that they do plan to bring guns into this committee room.
No, said you asked if we would want to.
I also
Nobody said
then
planned.
asked who feels
Committee
so
will-
threatened in their safety that they would need to bring guns into this committee
That's
room.
not saying that anyone plans to.
Inference that can't be made.
Okay, so the indication was in the affirmative when that question was asked. So, Mr. Chairman, to
Many
simply
members
say,
were not
to
taking
simply
part
say,
in the farce.
to simply say it's up to
Voting
every
present.
member to interpret
The member
rules.
reclaims his time.
When you
The
have
committee will be in
reason, when you
order.
have reason to believe committee members right here intend to bring weapons into this committee room, and Mr. Chairman, we're entitled to your interpretation of the House rules. You need to tell them that that's either okay or not.
And and I know y'all are upset with this right here, but that's what I'm saying, man. If they asking you a question, let's have the talk. Let's have the debate. Ain't that the reason why they get in their suits every single day and then come into that boring room and have these conversations in these meetings so we can fix something? Let's do it. Like, give us your interpretation, bruh. Nah, I'm chilling. I'm good. Y'all go find the interpretation from the admins. They will help you out, okay? I see what y'all trying to do. Y'all will not win today. Well, the people that also lose are the people that's just in the middle watching and trying to figure out whether or not you have something to hide. People who don't have anything to hide, they answer it right then and there. And then it gives people the opportunity to come up with their own way of thinking, okay? And so I get it. Chestnut checkers. I totally get it. I'm just saying what the middle people in the middle are looking at. And if they're constantly seeing that you're not answering and you're just pushing people over here, it looks some other type of way.
For the safety and security of this committee.
Mr.
And I yield back to the gentlelady.
I would also just make a request that if this, if the amendment by Mr. Huffman fails, perhaps it would be for the purpose of transparency that at the start of every
Gentlelady's
committee,
time has
we
expired.
ask who is carrying a firearm.
Any other member
Chairman?
wish to,
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. McClintock, you're recognized for 5
Hank,
minutes.
I just wonder if the gentleman from California or the gentlelady from New York has reason to believe that there is a homicidal maniac amongst us. If they do, they probably would have brought a gun into this room, whether or not there is a law.
Wow. That's a great point. I understand that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez believed that there's a homicidal maniac in this room. Well, if they wanted to do some harm, wouldn't they go ahead and bring the gun in here anyway without waiting until they can legally do it? If they wanted to cause some harm, then they will bring that gun up in here and do what they want to do, right? Right? Then that lends to his side. More likely, I'm believing that he takes up for the conservative side of being able to arm yourself at all times. If that is the case, if that is a fear of yours, then shouldn't we be properly prepared to prevent like a catastrophe from going off? If there's a bad guy in here with a gun, shouldn't there be good guys in here with guns as well? That way, the bad stuff won't go as bad as it could possibly go. Just so much to talk about in this conversation, man.
And I would challenge them right now to present their evidence, name the names, and present the evidence before such a catastrophe confronts us.
Will the gentleman yield?
Yes.
ThanI believe it's a
Courtesy, by the way, you didn't give me, but go ahead.
It's a mischaracterization. While I am not here to impugn the character of any individual member of this committee, I do believe that the performance
Of course you
demonstrated
are.
has
Because
shown
Who do you not trust to bring a firearm into a committee room or anywhere else?
I believe that from what I've witnessed, the competence of some members may be something that I would be willing to question.
I think you should give us names before the sun goes down because we're all in great danger if you're correct. But if you're going to name names, I'd like you to present the evidence as well.
This dude is a troll. This guy right here, because we're all in great danger, you need to give us names before the sun goes down because we are all in great danger if you do not. All right, I like the gray-haired troll. See, hey, and I told y'all, man, AOC is, I see what she's saying, and I see that she's trying to start something for her own argument, but this guy right here, he kind of kicked your butt a little bit, AOC. He kicked your butt, man. He kicked your butt.
And if not, then we should draw our own conclusions.
Will the gentleman yield just a bit?
Sure.
First of all, I don't think any member of this committee should have a weapon in this committee room. I believe that's the only reasonable interpretation of the House rules, but what we have heard today, I think reaffirms the concern that that's not how everybody sees it. Some members either aren't interpreting the rules right or think they don't apply to them, and
If
that
the
is
gentleman
cause
doesn't
for
wish
concern.
to carry a firearm,
And
I
I would
invite
just
him not to carry a firearm.
I would just say in addition that this notion that we're all responsible, vetted individuals, there's nothing to worry about, is pretty cold comfort when we have members of this institution who it turns out weren't so well vetted. We don't really know a lot about each other.
He said, we don't really know a lot about each other. I don't really trust none of you. I don't trust any of you. Again, if you don't trust the people in there and you think that there's a likelihood of something popping off where you're locked in a room where there's no security, okay, I'm just going to be quiet.
And we're finding new and interesting things about some of our colleagues every single day. So, thorough vetting is cold comfort, sir, and I'll yield back.
I would simply, again, invite the gentleman, if he has an accusation to make, then to make it. Otherwise, I think we're all free to judge the seriousness of his position.
Gentleman yields back. Does anyone else wish to speak on the amendment? If there's no further discussion, the question is on the amendment offered by Mr. Huffman. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no.
No.
He said no. No. Hey, man, y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know about this in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I am Van, and now we are all the LFR family. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video, hopefully inside of the Patreon as well. Y'all have been amazing per usual. Love y'all. Ask me about the Bang Bang Tea.
Get that Bang Bang Tea, y'all. It works. Trust me, it works.
Okay, so you've tried the Bang Bang Tea before. What was your 100% honest opinion on it?
Okay, so the Bang Bang Tea, I've never had any type of issue with my sex life. Like, we're young, we're still vibrant, even though I'm almost 40 years old. We still get it in. I've been married, I've been with my husband for over 20 years, so we still get it in. But when I say, I ain't gonna give my husband's real age, but he's in his 40s, right? That stamina that happened a couple of hours after we drank that tea, and I only drank half and I gave him half. That stamina happened, and you told me it was gonna be like half an hour. It took me about 2 hours, but when I say I was ready after about 2 hours, I was ready. Like, hold on, what you doing? You took your shower yet? You ready yet? Like, cause I'm ready, and I didn't understand why I was ready. I'm like, I'm ready. And it did exactly what you said it was gonna do.
Oh my God.
It did exactly what you said it was gonna do.